In this video, we'll take a brief look at the network types available when adding a Wi-Fi network and provide a few example scenarios to help you start thinking about which network type to choose. Every industry is different, and each venue has its own set of Wi-Fi network access and security requirements. During the initial meetings with the network stakeholders, discuss those requirements as they drive what the devices and users are allowed to use the network for, and what they're allowed to access. When designing and deploying a Wi-Fi network, the network type you select will drive the type of client authentication that will be used and ultimately the level of network security provided. You'll most likely want to create separate networks for different types of users, such as employees, guests, staff, teachers, students, etc. RUCKUS One Wi-Fi networks can leverage various access methods, including 802.1x authentication, captive portals using social media logins, pre-shared key or passphrase, or no restrictions at all. RUCKUS One offers 5 different types of Wi-Fi networks: pre-shared key or PSK, dynamic pre-shared key or DPSK, enterprise AAA 802.1x, captive portal, and open network. Let's take a quick look at what makes each one unique. A PSK network is a simple, secured network that requires the end user to enter a passphrase to gain access. With a PSK network, there's only one passphrase for the administrator to define and manage, and all end users will use the same password for authentication. The passphrase is converted into a 256-bit pre-shared key, or PSK, using a standard algorithm. Any authentication issues that result from this simple key exchange between the end user and the access point would be related to incorrectly typing the passphrase, and therefore really simple to troubleshoot. This type of network is typically used for end user access in a home Wi-Fi network, although a PSK network can also be used for any scenario where having multiple devices using the same password is acceptable. A DPSK network is also a secured network that requires the end user to enter a passphrase to gain access. The difference being that with a DPSK network, the administrator can choose to manually define passphrases or allow the system to generate the passphrases based on password parameters defined by the administrator. Passphrase parameters include format, length, expiration, and number of devices allowed per passphrase. Each passphrase can be configured for use by 1 to 50 devices, and the passphrase is bound to those device MAC addresses. The benefit of a DPSK network over a PSK network is that the administrator can revoke one of the DPSK passphrases without impacting the user experience for other clients authenticated using a different passphrase. An enterprise AAA network uses 802.1x standards to authenticate clients using the access point as an intermediary and a AAA radius server on the network to validate the credentials. In very simple terms, when a client attempts to access the network, 802.1x authentication is performed via multiple messages sent back and forth in the background between the client device and the access point, and between the access point and the radius server. These messages allow the server to confirm the device attempting to gain access to the network is actually what it claims to be. Use of an enterprise AAA network is common in larger enterprises, such as corporate venues, with the infrastructure to support 802.1x authentication. A captive portal network takes users to a pre-configured portal web page to obtain network access authorization. You can customize the portal web page with a personalized logo, a welcome message, and even terms and conditions text. Portal configuration lets you choose how clients get authorized, including simple click-through to social media self-sign-in to guest passes. You can redirect users to a specific URL upon network access, as well as set a timeout threshold per login session, set a file size threshold for user downloads, and even restrict access to certain websites. And lastly is the open network type. An open network is unsecured, allowing end users to access the network without entering any authentication credentials. While this network type is not recommended, it is supported in RUCKUS 1. This table is designed to simply help you start thinking about networks to consider for some common deployment scenarios. By no means does it address every scenario. Need a network that provides secure client access to your home network? PSK or DPSK networks are a good place to start. Need a network that provides simple client onboarding at retail establishments? A click-through or a self-sign-in captive portal network are worth consideration. Need a network that provides secure network access for your guests? Consider a captive portal guest pass network, or even a simple PSK network. Need a network that provides secure employee access? PSK, DPSK, Enterprise AAA 8021X, or CloudPath captive portal networks all fit the bill. And don't forget about infrastructure devices like VoIP phones, barcode scanners, cameras, and printers. A PSK or DPSK network works well for those. And remember, a venue can support multiple networks with differing security requirements, allowing you to accommodate different types of clients. And if you need support, RUCKUS Professional Services is available to assist with all aspects of design, deployment, and migration, including best practice consulting for RUCKUS networking products and solutions, network architecture design and deployment steps, and configuration guidance. And that brings us to the end of this video on choosing a Wi-Fi network.